Hey, what's going on, everybody? Suro here. Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're going to talk about a couple items that seem to have been canceled from either the Storybook Vale DLC or even the So Delightful update. As you guys know, we ended up getting a showcase at the end of October that was showing off trailers and just a bunch of information about stuff we should be receiving during these updates. There was a lot of hype build up around it, and then we were kind of let down on a lot of things. So we're going to talk about that today. I'm going to point out just a few that I found, and if you guys know of any, let us know in the comment section below. But yeah, let's just dive right in. If you guys haven't hit that like button for me or subscribed to the channel, I'd really appreciate it. We do daily Dreamlight Valley videos here on the channel. I don't want you guys to miss it. Alrighty, so one of the most important ones that I noticed was whenever we were doing the showcase stream, and this is where we got the big reveal about a bunch of stuff. They were slowly doing this build up towards the actual showcase stream, and then when we went past Scrooge's windows, we saw two outfits in the window. The other one looked like this cute cottagecore type of dress, so there was obviously a lot of hype built on, around that. As we've got through the game, and I've completed Storybook Vale on nearly 100%, I've collected most of the furniture, pretty much all of it, and outfits and everything from Scrooge's shop. And these items are definitely not in the game. I haven't seen them, and it's really weird because these were the teasers leading up for these updates, and we haven't seen them. Now, there is word, and this isn't confirmed, just based on some leaks. There is word that these two outfits could in fact be premium shop items, which I really hope not, because now they didn't say it was going to be free, but it was kind of assumed that it would be in the updates because we were actually waiting for a showcase stream based around these updates. So I don't know, I guess we'll have to wait and see if these outfits are gonna arrive in the premium shop. If they are, how are you gonna feel about it? I mean, another one of the screenshots that they shared shows our character in one of those dresses, and we've still yet to actually see it. So kind of a bit of a bummer for me. I really like both outfits. I think they're going to be great, but it was weird that we were kind of misled a little bit into thinking that it was going to arrive. Now, another thing I want to talk about is actually in the So Delightful update. During the trailer and the reveal of this update, you can see our character, they're showcasing a bunch of these friendship rewards. We have the bed, we have the dress, and inside this player house, which is definitely a player house, you can actually see that we have that window that you can get from Jack Skellington's house. This window has never been in the game, so when I saw it in the trailer, I assumed that it was coming in the update. I mean, that's what these trailers are for, to show you what you can get. So this is a player house, and again, I haven't seen this in Scrooge's shop or anything like that. Now, all of the stuff we're talking about this video, that doesn't mean they're not going to bring it up later on. They could drop it later on as free content or in the Scrooge's shop. My only issue with it really is the communication aspect, being transparent about this stuff. So whenever this stuff is shown off, they kind of encourage you to buy the expansions, buy the DLCs, play the update and all that, and then they have to remove something. I really wish they would just communicate this stuff with us, because communication goes a long way in pretty much any aspect in life. So if they would be more transparent about this stuff, I would really appreciate, because I understand the game definitely has issues, especially development. It's not easy to make a game like this, and I can see the devs run into major issues. But what is easy is taking 5 seconds to send out a tweet. Hey, sorry, this isn't working out properly, or we had issues with this. We're going to have to delay that. I think most of us would understand. I really wish that Gameloft would start taking that approach. We're going into the 3rd year for this game, and we still get very minimum communication from them. I almost feel like the whole community is kind of separated from the developers. We don't really have that connection or that relationship at all, which is very strange, because I've worked with a lot of game companies. I've worked with a lot of games, and I've never experienced anything like this, such a disconnect. So it's definitely interesting the way that they're approaching things. So yeah, this window, it could possibly be coming later on. We just don't know when or if ever. Now let's take a look at the trailer from Storybook Vale. Again, the stuff that's being shown off here is to kind of encourage you to purchase it, right? Like it's like anything, you see something and then you're like, okay, that looks great, I'm gonna buy this. But then you open the box and you end up receiving something that's a little bit different. So during this update, it looked like during this one scene, that the paths are enhanced. They look better, they're more polished, they're actually closer and put together. And whenever you get it in game, that is not the case. So let me show you what it looks like in game for these two paths that you can see. We have the little straw path here, and then we have the other brick one. As you can see, they're really close together, and it's not just the camera angle, they're just really close together. They look very high quality, but in the game, this is what we get. Alrighty, so here it is in game. As you can see, even if you get like a different angle and stuff, if you compare it up against the trailer, you can see that in the trailer, they are literally pushed together, and then in the game, it's such a massive space, and it's always been like this, but I thought from what I was seeing that we were getting a new feature, like they were gonna enhance it and work on it and make the paths kind of come together without that space, because it would be really nice not to have this gap. I mean, that way we can kind of merge paths together, and it looked like this side here was kind of sitting up on this other pathing here, which would be really nice. But yeah, it definitely was disappointing when I tested this out in game and saw that it actually was an enhanced feature. Another thing I noticed is this little image right here where they showed off the Frost and Fairies star path. So they showed off a bunch of the items in here, and we have some characters right here. So something I found interesting, and I'm pretty sure there's no like touch of magic pants. I looked into Daisy's shop, and unless my brain's just not working properly, these are definitely motifs on, I think, pants that we already have in the game, right? So we got this motif from the star path, and then we also have this little like snowflake item here. So at a quick glance, at first I thought these were like new pants that we were getting. I didn't know that they were motifs. And now that I know that they are, I'm kind of like, I wonder why they chose to display them here. Because you would think like, oh, okay, this is what you get for purchasing the star path with your money. But sure, you do get those motifs, but you don't actually have pants that you can place them on. So I thought it was weird that they displayed it here. They could have done like a touch of magic shirt or something. They could have another character with a touch of magic sweater or something showing off of these new like motifs. And I don't know, it's just really weird to me that they put it on something we can't even actually use or display. So I thought we were getting these new like pants, but it's definitely not the case. If you go to your rewards, they're actually this one right here. No, it's this one right here. Yeah, so it was this motif. It was like rotated sideways, and then they had this little snowflake one right here. So it cost 10 for this one, and then it was a bunch of these that were smaller and pasted on those pants. So, you know, the main point of this video isn't to like bash the devs or say like they're super misleading or anything. It's more of like, now that I'm starting to actually see the stuff and realize and look around, this is just a few things I noticed, and I was looking around today. And it's like, okay, so now I'm gonna have to change my way of thinking whenever we see these trailers or these teasers in the future or cover images. Now I'm gonna have to be like, is that actually a new clothing option? Is it motifs that are coming? Are these new features that are actually being implemented in the game, or are they just enhanced for the trailer to make it look better? Yeah, I guess I'm gonna have to like actually look at these things a little more closely and kind of decipher if it's actually what's coming to the game or not. Now, on the next thing was they actually messed with the patch notes off and on. They kind of switched up things. I'm sure they ran into some issues. So originally they had the paths for like how large the floating islands were going to be. They were 64 by 64. Then they quickly switched it to pretty much double that. That's not too big of a deal. But they did end up adding in this little thing here where it showed that the snippets could convert into story magic. So a lot of players were actually looking forward to that, because it's a little bit of a grind for, you know, certain players. Other players actually really like the grind. So we thought that that was going to be a way to make it a little easier, alleviate some of the stress and pressure on, you know, certain players. And they didn't keep this in the patch notes long. It was pretty much like overnight, right before the update, it actually ended up getting removed. So this feature could and probably will be coming to the game later in the future. Again, we just haven't heard any conversation or any, you know, the devs haven't really talked about this. I just, it really bothers me when like stuff is just kind of like put in there and then taken out, and then it's like it's in a trailer and then it's not in a trailer, and I'm like, what is going on? What am I buying? What am I gonna expect from these things? Now, if you take a look at this image right here, this is about the new So Delightful update. You know, they ended up showing off like the floating islands and stuff. And as you can see, Goofy's stall is up there on one of the floating islands. I was very hyped for this. Once I got into the game, I realized that you actually can't put Goofy stall up there, which is really unfortunate because I was like, this is literally on the cover image of the new update, and it's just we're not allowed to do it. So I was misled by that just a little bit. And I gotta think, like, a lot of these things didn't really have, like, we didn't have these issues previously, so I don't know what's going on lately, but a lot of the just quality with the game has been going down. Now, this video isn't a negative video, it's just sticking to the facts. We're just talking about what actually is happening. So everything in this video is what's happened recently, so it's a lot together. That's why I thought I'd bring it up, and we cover everything about Dreamlight Valley. So I was disappointed that the Goofy stall was nowhere to be found, like no option to actually bring it up to the floating islands. They probably will add it on later on, but they probably should have removed it from the image. And while we're talking about the floating islands, I know most of you were excited because it looked like we had water around the floating islands. We ended up getting this teaser image for the floating islands over in the like Sunlit Plateau floating island, and you could see a river going through it. It wasn't really a river, it was just on the outside, like the corner of it, but you could definitely see lots of water. So this was the image that was shown off not even that long, like I think it was a week or two prior to the actual update. But then once you get to the floating island, there's nothing there. There's no water or anything, it's just land. As you can see, the water is down here, but there's nothing covering this area. So if we go to these corners, it looks like you could have Scar's house and place it over in the corner, but then right here you definitely can't place anything over there. If I take one of my little frogs, you can't put them on this floating island or the other one. So I thought that was very weird to show off something and then it's just completely different. Now the last thing we are going to talk about is something that makes me a little sad. And again, this one doesn't affect me because I don't play PlayStation and the month is not over. So this one they could still recover from. They did mention that PlayStation cross save, not crossplay. We already have crossplay, but PlayStation cross save will be coming during this year. We obviously only have about what 2 to 3 weeks left, so they may surprise us with a tiny little update around, you know, Christmas time or at the end of the year, and they could implement this. Maybe they're going to add in a bunch of this stuff, a hot fix, you know, bug fixes, and drop in some of this stuff that enhance the, you know, what we've been playing, and also add in the cross save. So this would be really nice. This would allow players to move their profile from a PlayStation over onto another platform. I know this is a huge one that a lot of players are wanting, so I'm hoping we still get this one, but if not, that's going to be very disappointing because again, there's been no word about this. There's also been other small things like the premium shop items are not working the way they should, kind of like Chernobog's castle, what was shown on the image and then what we actually got in game, and then they kind of quickly swapped the thumbnail, but they didn't really talk about it or mention it. So some players ended up buying an item, and then once they got it, wasn't what they were actually shown. So then there was no way to like get a refund or anything like that. That's kind of crazy. A lot of content was being pumped out here at the end of the year, so I definitely can understand, but all I'm asking is to please talk to us, Game Love. That's it for the video. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch. I hope you guys all have the best day. I really do. I appreciate you, and I'll see you in the next one.